This episode of the Mad Rush podcast.
So PNMs, remember that the actives are also tired and stressed and exhausted. And so everyone's in the same boat. Stuff is going to happen during rush, like whether you have 10 minutes to run a mile down the row or your shoe breaks or whatever it might be, something's going to happen. But like if you walk into that next house and laugh it off.
Welcome to the Mad Rush podcast. I'm Trisha Addicks, the original Sorority Rush consultant. While the stories I have to share are nothing short of astonishing, this podcast goes beyond the wild client tales and sorority life. I'll be engaging with fascinating guests from both within and outside the Greek world, uncovering the surprising connections that bind us all together. Join me for a journey that's as entertaining as it is enlightening. Welcome to Mad Rush. Okay, y'all. So this is the third in my July Rush preparation series, and I'm super pumped to have this guest. She is also a Chi Omega. So again, you're going to get some real-time advice from my sisters. And I have known this guest, I want to say, how many years? When did you start Mount Vernon?
I think over 20 years ago. So
yeah,
over 20 years. Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, she is one of my fabulous mentors. Caroline Corley is here with me, and I'm super excited about this. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Trisha. I'm so excited. Rush is right around the corner. So I think this is a good time to give some people some tips and tricks.
Absolutely. First off, can you tell the listeners, I pretty much know all of this, but can you give them a little bit of your background?
Yes. So I was born and raised in Atlanta. I went to LSU for college. I have a lot of family in Louisiana, so I was always obsessed with LSU and New Orleans and everything Louisiana. And so I went there as an out-of-state girl, which was really...
I'm already interrupting her. It's been 12 seconds. So her parents are good friends of ours, and we are rabid Georgia fans, and they are rabid LSU fans. So we're always decking out to see who's wearing more purple or more red. So anyway.
Yeah, the rivalry has always been there.
Yes. All right, continue. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay. So I graduated from LSU in 2020, loved my time there, have the best of friends still that I'm so close with. I moved to Nashville during COVID, which was crazy.
Back up. I interrupted you before you said what sorority you were in.
No, I was a Chi O, obviously. So I'll jump into this later, but my mom was a Chi O at Vanderbilt. My grandmother was a Chi O at LSU. My great aunt was a Chi O at LSU. So Chi O's been in my blood. I did go into Rush with a very open mind, but it is really cool to share that with a lot of members in my family.
Yeah, your family members did not have an open mind about that, just FYI.
Yeah, no, they didn't. My grandmother almost came to pref night to stand at the back door, but she didn't. My mom was like, I will kill you if you do that. So, but yeah, it was great. I was in Nashville for 5 years. I've been teaching kindergarten at a school there, and just decided recently this summer to move home to Atlanta to be closer to family and friends. I know, and I'm really excited. So that's where I'm at right now, kind of on summer break before starting my new job in Atlanta.
And I just learned that she is going to be teaching at the school where my mother-in-law taught for, I want to say, 28 years. So, and my husband went there. And so it's a great school, and I'm super excited. I'm excited for you.
Yes, I'm excited.
Let's back up to Chi O, what you did, your activities in Chi O, or not activities, whatever, how you got involved.
Okay, so right off the bat, somehow I became pledge class president. They vote you on the first chapter meeting of the semester. And so I did that, which was really exciting because I really did not know anyone. I knew one girl that had gone through Rush with me, and then one girl that was she was a current sophomore. And so somehow I got involved really quickly, which was good because I met a lot of people from lots of different places all over Louisiana and just kind of really cool girls. And so I had to go to an extra meeting every week, which was good to kind of get into routine. So I did that freshman year. And then I was campus activities director chair at some point, career and personal development chair at some point. And then every summer I was really the only out of state rush chair.
Oh,
And
wow. I
I
didn't know
was
that.
responsible. Yeah, it was crazy. I was responsible for all 48 states besides Texas and
What?
Louisiana. Yeah, not crazy. And so they would, and every year I had to fight to kind of have more spots in the pledge class. And so, yeah, it was crazy. They would be like, can you figure out some information about this girl from Iowa? And I'm like, how am I supposed to figure out information about her? But I did. And it's like when we would kind of find those girls, we like to call them the diamonds in the rough or whatever. I would do my best and message people on Instagram to try to figure out any information about them.
Yeah, I was about to ask you because I get that a lot of people ask me this question, and I'm very big, or we as you two
Hmm.
are really big on your social media presence, but we didn't plan this, but what
Oh,
were
yeah.
you looking for? Like I want you to talk about, all right, I'm stumbling, but here we go. I want you to talk about what you were looking for on Instagram, and then also I want to get into what it's like to rush from out of state and advice, that kind of stuff.
Yes. So I think when you're looking at someone's Instagram, it's really what you preach is girl friendly. So when you're kind of scrolling through girls that are surrounded by girls and family, it's totally okay to have a boyfriend, but make sure that you are not just in pictures with him when you're looking. A lot of what I was doing too is just finding that connection. And so whether it was a
Buzzword,
friend's
buzzword,
friend,
buzzword.
a friend's friend knew this girl and knew great things about her, that would make us feel a little bit more at ease. And so when people reach out to me during rush and they're like, oh, I see you follow so and so, like, what do you know? Oh, well, I have a friend that went to high school with her. Let me ask her. And so I think it's really helpful, as being in a sorority and being out of a sorority to like still help, because being in that place where you're trying to find out information about someone because you didn't know them before, maybe they're an out of state girl from California and they're going to LSU, and there's a lot of LSU people there, Louisiana people, and you want to find something out. I think it's really nice to be helpful in that situation because we want out of state girls, kind of leading into what we're going to talk about next. We want them, we want to diversify our pledge classes. And so I think that's really helpful, is to be girl friendly. And when people are reaching out to you asking information, having things on your Instagram that are worthy of talking about. So I
Oh,
think
I
that's
love
important.
that. Y'all, I learned something every time I talk to Caroline. That is a really good point. Like I always talk about how your Instagram should project, your best self or whatever, and what you want to project. But I never really even thought about that. Like, and that's totally true. When I go to follow someone, I look and see who in common follows them.
Yes.
That's a really good point. So yeah,
Yes.
that's that buzzword connection if you listen to this
Is
podcast.
huge.
And
Yeah.
thank you if you listen to it. But I always talk about connections because that's what it's all about.
You have to. And it's not weird. Like, I kind of will talk about it, but like, you have to reach out to people. I remember, like, my mom was like, there's this girl that's an active tried out at LSU. Like, just reach out to her and say you're coming and you're excited. Like, that's not weird for an active to get that message over the summer. Now, if it's a completely random girl, I wouldn't go messaging like random girls you have no connections with. But if there's someone that shared their name, say, oh, so and so shared your name, and I'm just excited to, go through Rush, and maybe I'll see you at the door. Like, you can say something really basic, and it does go a long way, because when you're, kind of being voted on in the end, they can say, oh, well, she messaged me on Instagram and I have a good friend that knows her and I think she'd be a great gal. So it doesn't hurt and it's not
Yeah,
weird.
that's
And
great. That's great advice. And her mom is also a very good connector. And I mean, we have through the years, well
I have
before
like a
my
thousand connections.
yeah. But even before I had this business, we would be called. I'd be like, wait, so do you?
Yeah.
When my goddaughter went to LSU and from Charlotte, North Carolina, and didn't
Yeah.
know a
I don't think I
soul.
knew that.
Yeah, it was, but
But was
she,
it
and
after I left?
no, it was before you were there.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And so, but of course your mom knew, but it was one of those things. LSU, she was on my podcast talking about how, um, LSU was very overwhelming for her being from Charlotte. She's great and social and all good things. But LSU is a lot.
It
It's,
is a lot.
I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of these schools are for whatever reason, and it was very overwhelming to her, and she was
Yes.
very confused by a lot of the small town Louisiana people, and
Yes.
she,
I will say it is a school that is very like tight knit in a way, like very southern, very welcoming, like loves people, but in the same way, like where is Opelousas? Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, why is there this crew in Coyote from like Bossier City or outside of Shreveport? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and
yeah,
so you do have to kind of break into that. And I will say, kind of when I was there, at least, like certain sororities were big city sororities, like all these girls are from Shreveport or all these girls, and you would have others, but I think I knew that going in, and so I knew the different places, and I did have connections with family, and
right,
um, so I was able to kind of understand that culture a little bit. It definitely is like a little bit of a different culture, and just
yeah,
Louisiana and of itself, and New
yeah.
Orleans.
That's what I was
It
saying. Yeah,
definitely, if you have not experienced that or um, learned about it or talked with someone about it, it can be a little bit of a culture shock.
yeah. It was. I
Um,
think for her, it was more of a culture. She pledged Kappa. She had a great
yeah. Oh yeah.
experience, but the culture was, she was like, whoa, why are they wearing overalls? And now they do that but that kind of stuff,
Yes.
there was just a very different than how she grew up, and she
Yeah.
loved it, but she ended up transferring because she just was like, all
It
right,
was too much. Yeah.
it's too much. But it's obviously a great school. It's not as great as
Yes.
Georgia, but that's fine. Okay,
Whatever. We'll
so
agree to disagree.
so speaking of, I would love for you to give some like real time advice to some people are listening. There are a lot of people listening who are going to schools from out of state. And I would love for you to, you've already said that about messaging. Is
Mhm.
there anything as far as keeping an open mind, or
Yeah.
I don't know how, just any advice you have for coming from out of state?
Yeah, so I think what's important to remember is like you're not alone, even though you may feel like you're in the minority, there's not other out of state people with you. There are more girls from out of state than you think, especially at like a bit, I don't know, I think LSU is in an SEC school where there's a lot of in state, but you're not alone. So I think that's important to remember. I think the next thing, and my mom kind of preached this on me before I went to LSU, was you have to look at rush and recruitment as a time to make friends. And that will make it a lot more fun. So when you're standing in line outside of the house, like chat with girls around you. They could one day be in your sorority. They could one day be in a class with you. They could one day like be in the same job with you or go to med school with you. Like chat with the girls around you, make connections. And then when you're inside the house, like look at it when talking with actives as making friends with them. Like they could be your sisters one day, or they could be in class with you. So I think for me, I kind of just looked at it as a time to make like 1,000 new friends. And I will say after the fact, even though I went Coyote, I was in plenty of classes with girls that like I stood in line with, or I remember being in some classes with like active Kappas. Like I vividly remember we showed up and they're like, how do we know each other? And I'm like, you rushed me. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
I think if you do that, it's really fun. And you're just looking to make connections with them too. The buzzword again, like you just want to like become friends with as many people as you can. And then it makes it more fun and less stressful.
Right.
Yes, it's a big deal to be going through rush. Yes, there is, kind of a big ticket item at the end of the game, but it should be fun. And so if you are stressed or it's becoming overwhelming, like take a step back, take a deep breath and smile, and that will totally change the game. And so really that's like what I kind of did, and it was really fun. Um, I loved Rush. I loved chatting. I loved like meeting new people. I think since I didn't know a lot of people, it was really exciting. And I wasn't like nervous to see anyone in the house because I had bad blood or anything like that. So I
Who
think
could
it's just
have bad blood with you? Come
if
on.
you if you just like look at it as having fun and making a lot of friends, I think that's like the best way to look at it. And they will see that too. Like as an active, you can totally tell like when a girl is like really nervous. And I vividly remember telling a girl one time, like, take a deep breath. Like, this is fun. Like, I'm so excited to chat with you. There's no reason to be nervous right now because there isn't. Like,
Right.
it's all going to work out how it's supposed to if you do what you're supposed to do. And that's smile, take a deep breath, and have fun and be prepared, obviously.
Yeah.
But besides that, like in the moment, it's out of your control and just have fun.
That's great advice. And it's also ironically Gracie Baranka, who is one of your fellow mentors, she said the
Yeah.
same thing about the fun. She said the same thing about fun. And that is
Yeah.
something that, I don't really focus on that. And I feel like I should a little bit because I'm so diving into the preparation and
Yeah.
I'm kind of like taking the stand like this is your job to, but I love that. And that is so true. You're so right. Like having fun with it is going to
Yeah.
it's going to be infectious. And I love how you talk about chatting with people in line. That's why, we're hosting a mock round this weekend and then one again August 3rd. So if you're listening and you want to join in, we'd love to have you. But I was like, we're going to leave them on the sidewalk for a while
Yeah.
because that's going to
Have
give them
them
practice.
time to practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chatting with people. And when you're in the house and you're talking to a girl, it is over. You have sit in your Rex, you have picked out your outfits, your rush bag is ready, like you're in the house. You really can't do anything else to prepare. So you might as well just like look at it as like a little party and have fun and chat. If only there was a cocktail in your hand, that would probably make it a little easier. But that's the best advice I would give. And if I had to do it over,
Yeah, and that's great advice.
yeah, if I had to do it over, I would say the same thing. I don't think looking back and having this job with you now, there would really be much else in the moment that you should do.
Right.
Talk
And that's
professionally. You know what I'm saying? There are things to talk about and not talk about. But have fun with it.
yeah, and that is such a good point too is the people that are in the lines with you, going back to that, are the ones who are going to be either in your pledge class, they're going to be in your
Mhm.
classes, you're going to see their faces all over campus, and that is a really, I feel like I should do more of that, explaining that, and I'm glad that you talked about that
Because, like,
because
if you kind of have this sour, if you're standing outside and you kind of have this sour mood, you have no idea if there's a girl in front of you who has a sister in the house you're about to go. You just never really know what's kind of could be
right.
going on. So you really want to be weary of that and kind of careful, I would say,
Okay,
with that
so
too. And it's
yes,
fun.
so yeah, it's very fun. Um,
You're like, I
Caroline,
don't know about that. I thought it was so fun.
I'm
It is
sure
going to be
you did.
115 degrees and you're going to be sweating and your feet are
I
going to hurt,
know.
but it's great. It's temporary.
So that leads me to I would love for you to give your Caroline Corley's top 5 things that you should not do for PNMs.
Okay, I have my list pulled up so I wouldn't forget them. Okay, so I think first one, not prepare. And so I think you have so many resources out there for girls to be overly prepared, whether it's picking out your outfits from head to toe, sending in all your riffs, having your rush bag ready, having some conversation ideas or things that you might talk about to kind of highlight yourself. So really, if you don't prepare, you could be the morning of a day where you have a 9 a.m. party and it's 8:40 and you're running around trying to get your dress and your earrings and your shoes because you just moved in to your dorm. So being prepared, having that bag, like you say, in a special spot with everything in it, having your rush bag separate from the rest of your stuff that you're moving in. I think that's really important. It would be stressful. I just remember like I was setting my alarm extra early. I was making sure I was ready 30 minutes before I actually had to go meet my Gamma Chi. So I think not being prepared would
Yeah,
be kind of
that's
top for me because I think we share the OCD-ness.
yes. That is
So
huge.
I think
Yeah.
that's my first one. I think my second one is dressing inappropriately. And I think you have some good guidelines on what is appropriate and what's not appropriate. When you walk through the door of a house, girls are looking at you. This is your first impression kind of coming through the door. And so in order to feel your best, you really need to look your best. And so just remembering like, cleavage or whatever it is, making sure you're really trying to look your best. And actives understand that it's 100 degrees outside and you've been walking all day, and so we understand those things. But I think in terms of like the outfit you select, making sure that's um appropriate. I do remember like, ooh, I remember that one girl walking in, I don't know if that's really going to fit our vibe. Or that's not really womanly always, is how we would say in Kaio.
I
So
forgot
I
about
think,
that. Womanly
yeah,
always.
womanly always.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Huh.
Yeah, you got to be womanly always. Okay, I've said this so many times, but like not smiling, like if you're kind of there with like an RBF or look like you're not having fun, I think that gives a vibe of like they don't really want to be here. So why are we wanting to take them to the next round? That's kind of my number three. Number four, I think this is can be really hard because you get to school and you have this new roommate or you have these new suite mates and you're so excited to like make these quick friendships. But I really would suggest keeping kind of your thoughts and opinions on how you feel about different houses to yourself and maybe like your mom or your sister or, whoever that figure is going to be in your life. I think girls, you hope the best. You hope that people have the best intentions, but you just never know. Like if you said, "Oh, well, I'm really just not feeling it about Kaio. Like I just really didn't like the girls I talked to today." Well, your roommate, you might not know that your roommate has a best friend in Kaio the year above, and she could text and say like, "Oh, so and so didn't like Kaio." You just don't want anything to ever kind of come back. And so
Great point.
I really kept it to just my mom and I. And my roommate, I had a really sweet roommate. We're still best friends today. We would just say like, "Oh my God, it was a great day," or "I loved the drink they served at Kappa," or "the cookie I tried out." You know what I'm saying? Like things like that. But we really didn't talk about kind of how we were feeling about certain sororities. And I think we set that boundary like before Rush even
That's a
started.
great
So I
idea.
think
Set
what
the
you could
boundary.
do, yeah, she had three older sisters that were all Kappas, and so I thought she was probably going to go. You know what I'm saying? But she had a lot of friends in Cayo too, because she was from Louisiana. Maybe just kind of before Rush starts, saying, "Hey, look, like I'm so excited to be living with you. Like this week is going to be so fun, but it's also going to be like stressful at sometimes. Like I'd love when we come back together at night. Like let's just get to know each other. Like let's just not talk about Rush, or you know what I'm
That's a
saying? Like
great
let's
point,
just."
y'all. Listen to
Like
that.
we've been talking about Rush all day. Like we've been in it all day. Like let's just go grab dinner with some friends and like talk about something else. As hard as that's going to be and easier said than done, but like I think if you have the conversation before Rush starts, that might make it a little easier.
That is a
Um,
great piece of advice, y'all.
yeah.
That's
So
gold.
think about someone that's kind of be your person during Rush, that you can talk to. And as a mentor, that's who we are to our little girls going through. I like to do a shared note and I put all their houses each day and they go through and kind of just write one or two liner about it. And I remember last year, even one of the moms, I did end up sharing it with one of her too. So that's a good idea, like having a shared note with whoever that person is. Um,
Oh, I
and then
like
you don't even
that.
have to call them on the phone or text them. You can just type on the shared note, so they know how you're feeling. And then my last thing, I think I have some like memories of girls doing this at our house. And so I don't want this to happen. You don't want to talk about other sororities when you're in a certain sorority. So when you're at Caio, the words tried out Kappa or Katie should never come out of your mouth. Do you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like you want to avoid that whatsoever. And if an active, maybe it's sisterhood round, or maybe it's even pref, and an active is kind of like trying to get you to say something about someone else, you really have to be careful because they're trying to figure out how you feel. But at the same time, you don't want to bash any other sororities because that looks bad too.
Yeah, it does. I've had clients who reach out and they're like, someone just texted me, or a lot of times it's moms, like a mom, let's say your mom wouldn't do this, but
Yeah.
your mom would text me and say, how does Caroline feel about,
Yes, this does happen.
and tell your moms to zip it too. That's all I'm trying to
Yeah, the
say.
moms like as much. I will say I do remember like sometimes people would text me with if the girl was coming through Kayo and say, "Oh my God, so and so loved Kayo." That's good to know. But what you
Right.
don't want to do is ask someone how they're feeling.
Right.
But it is nice to know sometimes when you get those texts, you're like, "Oh my God, they loved it," or like they want to go. That is helpful to know. But yeah, don't talk about other sororities
Yeah. And
at all.
yeah, absolutely not. And that's very, 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 very important. Y'all, when you're in these houses, don't talk about anybody else. It's
Yeah.
not, I mean, not good or bad. You're there to learn about them, to meet them, to hang
Yeah.
out with them. So yeah, don't do it. Okay. Conversely, let's talk Caroline's top 5 things to do during
I
rush.
know. It's kind of like, I guess, the opposite of what I said. I obviously have fun. That's kind of my first big thing why we talk so much about that. Be smart on social media and do a little cleanup before you go through recruitment. I mean, you probably should have done that by now. And if you haven't, go ahead and do it. Being girl friendly. I think, when I like, for me, if someone was going to look at my Instagram, I want them to know that, like, I love my girlfriends. I love my family. I've been to camp. Like if I was going through, like I'm a big camp girl. I'm a cheerleader, different things that kind of showcase who you are. And so people are able to kind of maybe down the road set you up with girls that have things in common, or they are things that they can ask you about. Um,
And I like
I
that. I'm going to
think,
interject. I'm going to interject here. Sometimes people say, "Oh, you're trying to just change your social media just to fit into a sorority." It's really something, and it bears repeating. This is something over which you have control, meaning you put out there what you want, and
yeah,
it's a great way for people to get to know you. And so that is super important. I do it with my social media. My family is number one. And, I'm very proud to post about my family. And
yes,
that's what makes me the happiest. And so people will know that if I post that. So I just think it's something that you have control over, something you should do so that they can see you and what
yeah.
makes you special and unique, and they're looking at your dang Instagram. So
Yeah, I was
just
about to say, like, we are well, we need to get to this, but when I was going through Rush, social media was so different. That was 9 years ago. When I went through, it was like no one really followed you on Instagram before Rush started. Like I was on private, like no one really probably saw any of my social media. And then when I was an active, I mean, we had to like deactivate our accounts. Like we weren't allowed to have any interaction with any incoming girls. Our Kai O Instagram actually like went silent as well. So there was no posting during like prep week or rush week. Like everything was silent on all social media. And now I think girls have like kind of a huge like advantage to how social media is. There's some advantages and disadvantages, but the big advantages that they do have is they get to like get a glimpse into the sororities before they happen. They get to see what they're doing during brush week. They get to see the outfits they're wearing. They get to see how the house is decorated. Like TikTok, even like girls are getting outfit inspo for things to wear, hopefully the good inspo,
I was
or
gonna
what to
say.
put in, or what to put in your rush bag, or like there's just so much out there that is so helpful that like I had none of that. And I didn't have you. Do you know what I'm saying? And I was like, my mom was really great. And so I think that was like really lucky. But like, I think girls have a huge advantage now of having all that access. But what comes with all that access is people have access to you. So, like, I've come across TikToks that I never thought I would ever come across, but someone out there is knowing that I'm looking up someone and it pops up. And so just be careful that there's more out there than you even think, even if you think it's on private. Um, so
So
just be
that
really
leads me
careful with
to
what's out there.
what do you think? And I know the answer to this, but I would like to hear what or I know my answer to this. Do you think your Instagram the summer before Rush should be public or private if you're a PNM?
We've gone back through this so many times. I say private, but then when if girls are asking to follow you that are at like, so say like I have an Alabama girl, she's private, and then girls that are from Alabama asking to follow her, I say yes. When they start messaging you, we're going to stop that. Like, we're not going to really engage in messaging. I know I feel like our group text goes back and forth with this
Yes.
all the time, but I kind of think private, but allow girls to follow you from
Yeah,
that
that's what I
sorority.
think.
What do you think? Okay.
I
I feel like that's where
absolutely.
we've landed on recently. I'm like, is this a
I
trick question? I wasn't ready for that, Trisha.
I'm actually crying. Yeah. Oh my
That was
God.
not nice.
I get your face. I think it should be private and you should accept follow. And the reason I think that so much is because then you know who's
Who has access?
who wants, well, that who has access, and you kind of know who's looking at you.
Yeah,
And
which
so
is good.
if you're public, like I have no idea. I feel badly sometimes. I'll message with a friend of mine. I'm like, and it'll say follow back, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't follow her back, like because I don't get a notification because mine is public. So if someone follows me, and that just, if you're listening, y'all, it's not on purpose, but I sometimes it just, so yes, private, but that is hilarious. Okay, continue with
So
your.
okay, so we've done kind of two. I think my last three would be like kind of the opposite of what I said not to do. So preparing, dressing appropriately, having smart conversations. And you have your little acronym. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but like, no, don't really talk about boys, booze,
Bucks, Bible, ballot.
bucks,
Brands.
Bible, brands, ballot.
Yeah.
I knew they were all B's. I think that's a good thing to follow. Now, I feel like there are instances, like if you are a very faithful person and it's
Yeah.
sisterhood around, and you are now talking to a girl that you met on day one, and y'all like connected over like the Kyo Bible study. It's okay to talk about that because
Right.
both of you have kind of come to this conversation with a commonality. I still would stay way clear from politics or
Yeah.
brands or bucks, but the religion thing, I think sometimes people make a connection over that, and you'll feel it out. I feel like girls are, smart enough in that sense to know when's appropriate and when's not.
Right.
And then I
I
said
had a client once who, this was a long time ago. She was very, very faithful, and her religion was very important to her, and she fought back on the Bible part of the 6 B's. And I was like, you know what? If this is so important to you that this is what you want to, I'm not recommending this, but for her, it was the most important thing to get across. And so it worked for her. But I feel, what I'm saying is I do feel like there's never a time when you should talk about bucks or booze or boys or ballot, but Bible sometimes.
Yeah. And I will say, like, even if you are a faithful person, if you don't talk about it during rush, there is going to be in a chapter of 400 girls, you are going to find your people.
Right.
Whether that's religion or whether that's because you're interested in pickleball or tennis or whatever it may, or mahjong, like whatever it may be,
everyone in the world is interested in pickleball and mahjong, just saying.
Okay, well, if you're cool, you are.
I'm not into either one of them, so I'm not cool.
You're not a mahjonger?
Oh my gosh, Caroline, I don't have time to be a mahjonger right now.
That.
No, I'm not. I did have a mahjonger.
You know how to play, don't you?
No, I have no idea. I had a mahjonger on my podcast, my dear friend Jen Martell.
Yeah, 2 weeks. I listened to that one 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so you will find your people. Back to my point. You will find your people in a group of 400 or 300 girls. Like, so don't feel like if you're really passionate about something and you don't get it across during rush that you've like lost all hope. Like, you will find those people.
Yes, that is a great point.
And the girls, like, I think what's so cool to say is my best friends now, and the girls that will like be my bridesmaids, and who, I just had one come visit me last weekend, and I think there's a future engagement happening with one of them, and I'm going to fly to New Orleans and go meet her. Like, those are not the girls
Wait, is that going to be a spoiler alert by the time this airs?
No.
Okay. For her.
Oh, will it? She's not going to listen to it. Do you think she will? Okay, maybe cut that. Okay, what was I saying? Oh God, that was okay. So
don't cut that. That's hilarious.
She probably won't listen to it, but if she does, whatever. It's not. She knows she's getting engaged.
Okay, yeah.
She just doesn't know when.
Yeah. So then you're good.
So then I'm fine. You don't have to cut it. Moral of the story is the girls I was friends with right when I became a coyote, even that first like year, are not my best friends today. So like
Exactly.
it took, half of a semester. Really, we kind of all got together in Mardi Gras. It's so funny. Mardi Gras of freshman years when we all kind of like made our friend group. And we'd all hung out and like been at different events together and pre-games and whatnot. But so it takes some time. So don't worry, like if you get in and you're like, oh my God, I can't find the girl that wants to like go walk the lake with me or something, like you will find that girl, and just give it some time and patience, and it all works out.
That's a very good point too. When I pledged, I'm sorry, my freshman year, I did not pledge, as we know, which is why I have this business.
Yes.
But that was a little different because I wasn't in a sorority, but my friend group, once I was in a sorority, was completely different than what I thought my friend group, like I went in, I would have my pledge sisters who were my friends, but then my friends that were already in the sorority, I was friends with them, but we didn't really hang out as much. And so that is something at a point that is such a great point to bring up is, y'all, this is really important, but it's a evolving thing. So, staying true to yourself.
Stay with it. I'm like, I don't like, there were moments where I was like, cause I was out of my friend group. I'm the only girl from out of state. And so I vividly remember there was like this really early weekend where like LSU had an away game. And I think it might've been, wasn't Labor Day, because I went home with my freshman year roommate on Labor Day, or maybe it was Labor Day, and like all my Kyo friends were going home, and like I felt so alone and isolated because I was from out of state and it was too quick to like go home to Atlanta for the weekend.
Right.
But it wasn't my roommate. I did something with someone, or I think one of my best friends today like invited me home to New Orleans in the end, and like now she's one of my best friends. So like it all works itself out. Like in the moment, it seems like the biggest deal, but like I can't even remember 9 years later what was the actual situation. It wasn't, obviously the end of the world, even though I probably told my mom it was the end of the world. She needed to come fly to Louisiana and hang out with me. And
now, Caroline, I don't know that is necessary.
You're okay.
You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Okay. You're amazing. Is there anything else?
I'm trying to think about anything else.
You don't need it. I mean, we have great. We
talked about how social media is so different and how it has the advantages and, also the disadvantages. So be careful. But it's so fun. We talked about
public versus private.
Yeah, we talked about public versus private, and now I know the answer. I need to like stamp it on my forehead or something. But just have fun. Like, it's really, I love it. I would not like regret it. I would probably go back and do it again. I don't know a lot of people that would say that.
But that's like saying you want to give birth again. I mean, I would give birth again to get my children every day.
Here's the question. Would you rather I was not the biggest fan of being an active during Rush. So would you rather go back and do that or go through Rush again?
I hated being an active.
I know that was really tough.
During Rush, it was really hard. You're right. It
was really hard.
It's
really great, but if you don't have a lot of people that you're rooting for, it's, when they're asking you to find the girl from Iowa and what's her deal, it's not really good.
No, it's not. I did not like it.
Wait, you'll laugh at this. Every year I kept saying, "Can I be an admin and work in the basement?" And they would never let me be an admin and work in the basement.
They needed you. They needed you. Not you. Yeah. They needed you. That you should not be in the basement. Nobody puts baby in the basement.
But I wanted to go do all the admin work and whatever. But I think that's it.
I remember when I was my first year. As an active in Rush. And I was like, wait, hold on. I cannot do this. It's
almost harder than being a PNM.
I think it is. I think it is. I mean, there's a different stress, but the emotions on both sides are so high, but it's so
PNMs, remember that the actives are also tired and stressed and exhausted. And so everyone's in the same boat. So you might as well just... I wrote down one funny thing, like stuff is going to happen. I don't know if I could cuss on this or not, but
sure.
Stuff shit's gonna happen during rush. Like whether you have 10 minutes to run a mile down the row or your shoe breaks or whatever it might be, something's gonna happen. But like if you walk into that next house and laugh it off, like I vividly remember Mary Harris telling the story about her
So we
shirt
talked
inside
about that
out.
with Gracie.
I
Yeah.
talk about it all the time with
Right.
girls. I'm like, things will happen, but the way she handled it, like
Right.
that's what the sorority is going to remember. If you come in and you're like, I need a bathroom because I fell or whatever it might be, like, it's okay. Like,
Right.
just come at like something's going to happen to everyone at some point, whether you know it or not. And so just know that like you're not in it by yourself.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
We're quoting Carla Corley now. It's okay.
It's okay. Like I think some girl like had to come in her flip flops one time because the shoe broke. Like that's a funny thing to say. Like, oh my God, I was running down Sorority Row and my shoe broke in a pothole. Like whatever. Like it's funny. Like don't think people are judging you for that kind of stuff.
It's important to remember that they're human too, and they know things are going to happen. You know things are going to be happening. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. She sounds just like her mom when she said that. Okay, so Bama Rush popularized the hashtag OOTD outfit of the day. For Mad Rush, I'm repurposing hashtag OOTD into observation of the day. What is Caroline's hashtag observation of the day?
You're going to laugh. Mine is hashtag your mom is your best friend. I think recently my mom has been really my best friend in a lot of different ways. And I think talking earlier about with Rush and finding that figure in your life, whether it's your mom or a sister or another woman or your mentor, it's really important to have that person during this week of Rush and having someone you can rely on or say things that you don't want to say to anyone else or share your feelings. And so I think that's my hashtag right now.
That's a great
my mom
one.
is always my best friend, and I wish at 18 I would know what I know now about like how much you should value that relationship.
Yeah.
It takes time to grow up a little bit and realize like she is right most of the time.
Yes. And should take you no time to know that I am always right. So just FYI.
Yes, always.
FYI. Yeah, no, I talk about that. I have a whole chapter in my book about assembling maybe it's not a whole chapter, but part of a chapter where assembling your support squad before you go, and that would be your mom and maybe your best friend, but should not be if your best friend's going through Rush at the same time. Should not be that.
No. And it's like, I remember talking to my high school friends that were going through Rush at different sororities. Like, I think like Alabama, Bid Day, like they were kind of like 2 days above, 2 days before LSU. Cause when I went, do you remember when I went through Rush, there was a flood in Baton Rouge and they had to delay Rush by a whole week?
Yes.
Yes, that just came to me. So yeah, that was crazy because literally my parents left me at college during a flood and drove away and Rush was delayed a whole week. And so we just like sat in our dorm and like watched movies and it was crazy.
Wow. And then there was something, I had a client, same thing. It was something they had to evacuate or something. Yeah.
Well, anyway. For a hurricane or something. Yeah. But yes, your support squad is great. If you have a friend at another school, I think that's fine, especially if they've already gone through Rush. Maybe they can give you some tips and tricks too, but not if you're at the same school. Try to steer clear of that. For sure.
And figure it out beforehand. So you, like you said, I love the shared notes.
Do a little pep talk, a little like boundary with your roommate or your suite mates beforehand. I think that's huge.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just wrote that down. I'm going to put that in my book, shared notes. I'm going to give you credit. But I'm going to put it in there. All right. Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing, y'all. I'm so glad that you get this wisdom. And if you're out there and you're a PNM and you're about to go through Rush, I highly suggest you listen to this a couple times and let it sink in. And same with the moms. Anyway, thank you. And because I'm leaning into Rush prep for these July episodes, I'm not going to do Timeout with Trisha because that is Rush prep. So anyway, the whole episode was Rush prep. So thank you for listening. In the meantime, check out my Instagram at Rush with Confidence for more tips. We're leaning into the preparing because it's almost go time. See you next week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Mad Rush podcast. If you are enjoying this podcast, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. For additional Rush tips, updates, and more, please follow me on Instagram at Rush with Confidence. If you would like to reach out to us or for more information, please email info@madrushpod.com. This podcast is produced by Collier Landry and Don't Touch My Radio. Copyright Trisha Addicts.